After major merger news in 2017, homegrown businesses in East Tennessee, including Scripps Networks, Regal Entertainment, and Pilot Flying J, all experienced major change in 2018.
10 News anchor Beth Haynes looks back at a year of transitions thanks to big corporate takeovers.
As 2018 began, one of Knoxville's largest homegrown companies started the year with a big announcement.
This is huge. People were worried that a lot of jobs may go away.
Discovery, which purchased Scripps Networks, announced its national operations headquarters would move to Knoxville once the $15 billion merger was complete.
It will be continued creation of well-paying, high-skilled jobs, and that in itself, again, is really good news for Knoxville.
All while another homegrown business prepared to move its corporate headquarters across town, selling off memorabilia and halls for new waterfront digs. But as Regal's merger with new owner UK-based Cineworld Group became final a month later, top executives stepped down, bringing a cloud of uncertainty to the Knoxville-based theater chain and South Waterfront development.
It's an important location in Knoxville and again in the state of Tennessee, and it would really be key to the community that they be able to stay.
Meanwhile, in March, Scripps' $14 billion sale to Discovery finalized. Crews changed out company logos, a promising sign as employees awaited more news, which came in July. Discovery announced it was moving its broadcast hub from Knoxville to Sterling, Virginia. Also in July, Regal opened Cinebar, an all-in-one style entertainment venue at West Town Mall.
It's more than just a state-of-the-art theater.
August revealed Discovery's profits dropped more than $100 million in second quarter earnings, prompting layoffs and employee transfers.
And this is laying some people off and the costs associated with that, bringing systems together, moving people around, and so forth. And so not surprising, the question for the company is not so what happens in a single quarter, but what happens in the next several years.
A week later, Pilot Flying J, the Knoxville-based truck stop chain, announced layoffs. We learned in October 2017, Berkshire Hathaway bought 38% of the company started by the Haslam family and will own 80% by 2023. But transition of ownership hasn't slowed Pilot's long-standing philanthropic commitment. As 2018 came to a close, Pilot Flying J donated $2 million to more than 20 nonprofits. And Regal paid homage to its Rocky Top roots, rolling out a new logo designed in Tennessee orange. The company says it's a nod to its hometown and part of a larger strategy to commit $1 billion toward new cinemas and renovations over the next 5 years. Beth Haynes, 10 News.
Up next, the partial government shutdown means